Here is another practice round. Let's find out why the sound sucks.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Honestbee by G. This is Pippa being a diva in the back, and I'm G, and we review everything eco-friendly and cruelty-free. I know it's been a while since I've been on, and I'm so sorry. A lot of things have been going on in life, but I am back, and I'm so excited to be back. I've been dying to be back. But let's just jump right into it, because today we're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions and how Honestbee can help, and essentially how we can really help each other, and to use this platform as a way to boost each other and to inform each other and hold each other accountable. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so if you're new here, hi, I'm G, or Grace, and I created Honestbee by G as a cruelty-free, eco-friendly, sustainable, and clean/non-toxic platform for others seeking a different kind of lifestyle, or to dip their toes in the water of everything eco-friendly and cruelty-free. A couple years ago, I adopted my rabbits, and then I ended up being diagnosed with lupus, which really changed my health and my outlook on life. And because of this, I really delved into the cruelty-free, eco-friendly, sustainable world. I found myself looking for other creators like me, and I found lots of great people, just not anyone that was a one-stop shop of everything I was looking for. And finally said, I'm gonna make it my own. I've put so many years of research into this, and there's gotta be other people struggling other than just YouTube here, where I really explain things. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, because I really love connecting with you guys. I love having questions, I love having polls, I love your comments, and I love learning more about you guys and how we can help each other and hold each other accountable. And when you guys share your stories with me, it's really, really fascinating, and it's really an honor when you guys open up your lives to me and we figure out how we can really work off of each other. Am I already boring you? If you're anything like me, when you start off the new year, you're just like, wow, this is my year, new me, let's get going, let's make these amazing plans. I feel like I never accomplish them. Really what I want to get at in this video is different ideas for New Year's resolutions that I think will be easier to accomplish, and that you're going to be really proud of yourself, and ways that Honestbee can help you achieve that, and so that we can do that together and you can hold each other accountable, and that you can use my different platforms as a resource to help you along this journey, so that you don't feel alone, or that you don't feel you're struggling or unable to figure out what the next step is if you're advancing, or if you feel like you've taken a step back. Totally okay. So I'm gonna go through my different ideas of what Honestbee covers and how I think this channel can help you, and we're gonna do it together. And that's the main part. Is that, did I say port? I meant part. That's cool. And I want to start this off by getting into something that I call my 25% rule. And what I mean by that is, I think when we set goals, we feel this need to do an all or nothing. And something I really like to stress with Honestbee and my platform is that an all or nothing approach doesn't always work. And if you're someone who can make that work, that's incredible. I'm personally not. And I know a lot of other people aren't as well. So I think sometimes it's really good to start something in 25% increments. So when we talk about going cruelty-free or vegan or anything, instead of saying I have to cut everything out and giving ourselves these limitations and blocking ourselves and constricting ourselves, we're actually just opening more doors and saying, let's open this door and dabble in the world of vegan and dabble into cruelty-free. And that way there's no guilt, there's no shame, there's no waste, there's no punishment for doing something wrong. It gives you room to mess up, and it's totally okay. That's part of learning. So it's time for you to give yourself that room to experiment and try and to fail and to do it with a smile and to say, you know what, I learned something out of it. Okay, so obviously goal number one would be to go cruelty-free. Going cruelty-free can be really difficult, and it seems really daunting, and that seems to be the number one thing that you all tell me, is that you are really excited and passionate about going cruelty-free, but you have no idea where to start. And trust me, I 100% understand, because I felt the same way when I started my journey. And that's why everything I tell you meets my standards of cruelty-free. When Honestbee says something is cruelty-free, I actually have 5 different criteria that you have to pass. So, are any of your products tested on animals? Are any of your ingredients tested on animals, because these can be two different things that are kind of tricky in the wording. Do you use a third party to test on your behalf? So some people can say, oh, well, we don't test on animals, but they'll pay to kind of go under the table that some other company under a pseudonym tests for them that still uses animals. Fun fact. Do you physically sell your products anywhere where animal testing is required? For example, mainland China. So a company can say they're cruelty-free but still sell and have companies and brick and mortar shops in mainland China, and their rule there is that they must test on animals when they feel it's necessary, and that contract is very blurred. There's no way to really tell what's necessary and not. That's such a subjective term, and it's really just a way that I feel companies are kind of greedy to get money and to have that market there. So anything that is Honestbee approved does not sell in mainland China. And then, have you verified with all of your suppliers that none of the ingredients in the process to get to your labs, to your companies, has been tested on animals? And so if it's Honestbee by G approved, I have gone through other sites like Logical Harmony, Ethical Pixie, Ethical Elephant, Cruelty Free Kitty, some other amazing resources that I highly suggest that you follow on Instagram, on YouTube, and on their blogs that helped me gather the resources that I needed, as well as Honestbee, to get to this point. Where they have reached out to companies. I myself have reached out to companies. I'm constantly emailing them to find out if they pass all 5 of these questions, and if they cannot give me an honest answer, they are not Honestbee by G approved, and I do not consider them cruelty-free. And one of the reasons I don't put all the different companies that are cruelty-free is because I also like to focus on brands that have safer ingredients, that are non-toxic, that don't have a ton of allergens in them. And I don't think of Honestbee as just a cruelty-free database. I'm only listing brands that I have in my repertoire and that I constantly use, or that I stand behind. I have physically tried and tested, rather than just being a information hub of all brands. I think it's already done. You can look at all of the sites that I've already talked about, and they have just a laundry list of every company that's cruelty-free, which is so fantastic. I just didn't think it was important for me to do that because it already exists, and those amazing ladies have done so much work to make their page. I didn't just want to be a copycat. Going cruelty-free means you're gonna mess up a lot, because there's also a lot of lies in marketing as to what's cruelty-free, because not all bunny signs are the same and not all certifications are the same. The other thing is that cruelty-free isn't a regulated term, so anyone can make a fake logo in Photoshop and slap it on. Here's some examples right here of fake logos that don't mean anything, and they can say they're cruelty-free, but maybe they sell in mainland China, or maybe they paid a third party and they're still testing on animals, which is really sad. And it gets really overwhelming. So if you're overwhelmed right now, I'm sorry. I'm trying to simplify it, but also explain why it gets so convoluted and gets to be such a muddy subject. And know that when you're going to something that's Honestbee approved, that I've gone through all of that for you, and I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. Vegan. Vegan is a really hard one, and so one of my personal goals this year is to make sure not only are all of my products cruelty-free, but all of my products are vegan. And I think it's important to also note that just because it's cruelty-free doesn't mean it's vegan. I know that's kind of crazy, and now that's also adding another layer. That does not mean that you have to follow it, and some of my brands that are Honestbee by G approved have products that have animal contents. And in another video, I'm going to explain all the different hidden words and non-vegan ingredients that might be lurking in your ingredients list that you had no idea was actually an animal byproduct. But it's way too much to get into this video. And I think that's kind of the next step once you've already done cruelty-free, to then jump into vegan products. As far as a diet goes, that's where I'm going to start adhering to my 25% rule. So I've gone about 25 to 30% vegan in my routine right now. I'm not necessarily proud. I'm proud that I've researched some new things and that I'm trying new foods, but I still don't think that that's enough given my platform and what I stand for. And considering what I know of the dairy industry and some other things, I'm fully vegetarian. But I'm still having a hard time getting rid of things like M&Ms or butter, sour cream, things I probably don't need in the first place, but that I'm so accustomed to at this point that it's a little bit difficult to reverse, and it's just finding those alternatives. I'd say that one of the easiest things that I found to slowly integrate more vegan things was, first of all, to start vegetarian. That was really easy for me. I know that it's not easy for everyone, especially with chicken. Chicken was the hardest one for me to get rid of. But once I started finding these recipes and finding things like Gardein, which has a vegan alternative to meat, and finding ways to kind of spice it up and use it in a salad or a soup, or making vegan chicken tenders, it was really easy to switch. And honestly, at this point, I never crave real animal meats, and I found that my substitutes work just as well in comparison. And sometimes I'll even make something for my family that's vegan and they have no idea, and they don't notice the difference. So I think that that's really amazing. It's also up to following other vegan creators, and especially on Instagram. You can look at some of the people that I follow. There are some amazing vegan people on there, and I aspire to be them every single day. So that is a goal that I'm having that I hope you'll hold me accountable to. I'm not your best stop for vegan when it comes to food, just because I also suck at cooking. But I'm always here for you for vegan alternatives for your beauty products, and skincare as well, which brings me up to my next idea for a resolution, which is a good skincare routine. I think with all this mask wearing, and as we're not really wearing as much makeup right now because we're either on Zoom calls or we're working from home where no one sees us, we're kind of shying away from some of the makeup and really looking at skincare. I also gave you guys a poll on one of my more recent Instagram stories, and you guys were a lot more interested in skincare than you were makeup. And when I asked that previously, you guys were a lot more into makeup. And that's kind of the beauty of doing some of these polls and being part of my Instagram, is that you get to vote in those and have your voice heard and tell me what you're more interested in, so that I can cater my videos to you and make sure that I am doing what you are most interested in. I think making the goal for yourself to find your skincare routine is a really, really, really solid goal. For people that believe skincare is kind of expensive or that they don't know where to start, there's so many resources like Mixed Media, Skincare by Hiram, the Welsh Twins, and let's see, Susan Yara. These are all really amazing creators on YouTube to help jumpstart your skincare. I'll be posting little things, but because I'm not a dermatologist, I would consider myself a skincare enthusiast. But because of my struggles with lupus, I kind of have this extra layer of complications, but I'll tell you little bits and tips and tricks of my favorite products along the way, and I'll do some more informational videos as well about some of the things that I've learned. But once again, I'm not a doctor, so you should go to your dermatologist or speak to an esthetician if you have some really serious needs. Finding a good skincare routine takes some time, and I'd mentioned earlier that it can be kind of expensive, and when people engage with me about kind of the expense, there are lesser expensive brands that work just as well. Don't be fooled. You don't need a $200 moisturizer or a $500 retinol that the celebrities use. You can use something like the Inkey List or the Ordinary, and it works just as well. So don't be overwhelmed by a price tag. I think the other beautiful thing about a really good skincare routine is that it doesn't have to have 20 steps. It can be 3-4 steps max, and that's everything that you need. You know, the main things are a good cleanser, a good moisturizer, and a really good SPF. That's 3 steps right there. And you can always add or subtract as you go. And in a little bit, I'll be posting my skincare routine, what I started from, kind of the middle of where I was, and then how I feel I've pretty much, I think, perfected my skincare routine, and how it's helped me with some before and after photos. I'll get into all of that later, but that's something that we can also help each other, and you can always ask me questions about. Sustainability. I think this pandemic has also taught us a lot about our waste and our impact on the earth as human beings, as we're sitting at home and observing more, or using more plastic or using less plastic, using more or less of certain materials. And I think that it's kind of really hitting a spotlight right now, which is fantastic in my opinion. And I think there's this big moment of us all realizing how much damage that we've done to the earth and how much of our daily routines are either unnecessary or how easy some of these shifts can be in sustainability, whether it's when you go to the grocery store to always use a canvas bag. And right there is a fantastic goal for the new year, is to just be in the habit of always bringing a canvas bag. That makes such a difference right there. And I think that's another point that I want to make in this video, is that you don't have to have a giant New Year's resolution. Start with something small that you know that you can own up to, because having a big giant plan to share with your friends and at the end of the year not committing to it versus something that might seem smaller but having that full commitment and it being a habit that you carry out the rest of your life is really, really incredible. Other really quick, sustainable switches can be things like your toothbrush or your floss, or maybe switching to more bamboo products and trying to limit the amount of plastic that you use in everyday life. And I challenge you to just look around your house and see how much you rely on plastic products and slowly integrate bamboo or more sustainable materials that break down in landfills much easier. I'm rambling again. The great thing about sustainability is I think it's another one of those that you don't have to be 100% perfect at, but you can always increase little bits as each month or each quarter, whatever time period you need to make those changes to keep that going, keep that momentum, and slowly incorporate new things. For me, the newest thing I'm adding is reusable Ziploc pouches. And I'm really excited about that, to be going away from all plastic Ziplocs and just to have reusable silicone bags that I can wash and reuse each and every day for lunch, or to make my husband's lunch, or if we're going for a picnic, or I just want to store something in my fridge. I think it's a pretty inexpensive, easy, quick fix that it's just a habit, and that I'll get used to it. This next one is something that I personally really want to work on as one of my mini goals, and that's to shop small. You might be wondering what that has to do with Honestbee or my platform, but hear me out. Right now, this pandemic has really, really crushed small businesses. And if we want to boost our local economy, we need to make sure that we're going to our local businesses that are our next door neighbors, and we're fueling these small mom and pop shops and making sure that we're making those contributions to keep them afloat, rather than something like a giant Amazon or some of these huge corporations that were online whose income just is so huge now, that grew so much during something like the pandemic, whereas your everyday people, your next door neighbors, your friends, your family, those are really, really struggling, and we're losing probably about half of our businesses to this pandemic and people that are out of work. And I think it's really important to support our local community members and to support our local economy to make sure that our neighbors are doing okay. Sometimes it's going to cost a little bit more. Some of your boutiques have more overhead price, or they're also doing things in a more ethical manner. They don't have these large corporations where they can buy in bulk. So I think it's also about having quality over quantity. And next time you want to go to Starbucks, maybe look for your local coffee barista instead. If you're looking for new clothes, maybe instead of going to the mall, look for your local boutique that maybe your old kindergarten teacher now has, or something like that. Just that effort to show them that the community is behind them makes such a difference. And I think it's also something to say that you're helping small businesses pay for things like their medical bills, or to help fund their child's education for college, or to help them restore their kitchen that is destroyed after a hurricane or something like that, rather than another big CEO add a fifth Mercedes-Benz to their endless garage. I think another fabulous resolution, and maybe this is just being a little bit selfish, but I think supporting small creators and indie brands is also something really important right now. When I talk about indie brands, makeup, skincare, smaller clothing brands, people that have invested every penny into creating a business from scratch, not one of the big names, the high-end luxury brands. And if you like those things, it's no problem at all. But I do think it's something to start researching and finding some of those smaller brands. Just like your local community, these are people that have poured everything that they've saved into starting a brand in some kind of niche area that they found really important and that means a lot to them. And they're not just some celebrity brand that's a multi-gazillionaire actor that's now doing a skincare line or something like that. Not to throw shade or tea or any of that at some of these brands. I mean, some of them are passionate about those things, but these are people that will always be afloat. And I personally would rather give my money and my attention to a brand that has for years struggled to have the resources and the marketing team and the PR and everything behind them, and has put every bit of blood, sweat, and tears of resources that they could afford into a brand that they truly stand by and believe in the ingredients or the cause or the niche, in order to bring something new to the market, rather than a celebrity that's trying to jump on a trend or just to add something extra or get their name out more, whatever their purpose is. I personally want to support the underdog or the smaller business. Doing something as little as writing them a message like, I'm so proud of you, or I'm so interested in this line, can't wait to see you grow, or I just bought this and I'm so excited, can't wait to see what else you launch. That means the world to those small creators. Same with YouTube, Instagram content creators. Give them an extra like, comment on their post, help their algorithm, show them that you care. If your friends have started a YouTube channel or are trying to be more content creators, or trying to make it on TikTok, or trying to make it in the music industry, follow them on Spotify, save their songs, subscribe to their YouTube channels, show them that you care and that you appreciate their hustle, and that, you know, everyone's just trying right now during these times that are difficult, and maybe they need the extra income, or maybe this is a new creative outlet for them that they've always wanted to explore that this pandemic has really opened their eyes to. Or maybe it's something to fill their time, or maybe just something that makes them happy or passionate about. Show them that you care. That's one of the greatest things you can do. It costs you no money at all. All you have to do is hit a button every once in a while, and you'd be amazed how much that can go. I hope you found this video interesting. I know it's a little bit different from some of my other material, but I did think it was very important to point some of these things out. And as times are kind of shifting, our interests are shifting, our minds are opening, I thought it was really important to kind of start off January with these ideas. Hopefully I post this in January. Sometimes we just need a starting point, and we also need to give ourselves the love to mess up, and also the fact that it doesn't have to be this giant grand idea, guys. It can be something really small. And also consider my 25% rule of maybe starting 3 of these off my list and just do them at 25%, that by December you want to be 25% cruelty free, 25% vegan, and 25% sustainable, or something like that. It's your journey. You can do as much or as little as you want. It's just about holding yourself accountable, holding me accountable, holding each other accountable, and committing to something and trying to make it through December to the point where it's just second nature, that we don't have to think about it anymore. And that by the end of the year, we can say, wow, I feel like I'm a more accomplished person, I'm a better person, I'm a more aware person, I'm more informed, and I want to learn more, I want to do more. What's the next step? And that's what we want to feel at the end of this. All right, guys, I think I've exhausted you enough today. My throat's already dry from talking so much, so your ears must be probably bleeding by now, so I'm so sorry. I really hope this was helpful. I know that it's a little bit different from my normal content, but I did think it was really important to bring this up and also talk about how we can help each other, how we can hold each other up, lift each other up, hold each other accountable, and how Honestbee can help you this year. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure to follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, whatever, add me on Clubhouse. I'm on all these different platforms. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more present this year. That's one of my goals. Many more animals, many more products, many more brands. Lots of exciting things are coming up this year, guys. I'm so excited to share it with you. So make sure you stay tuned, hit that ring bell so that you know when I'm posting something, so you can be first to see it. I'll see you later, guys. Have a fabulous day. Bye.